No coalition here, folks. Galcian and Knef. This should be fun. Not a mirror match, but still kind of the same units. And I will say Galcian versus Knef, way more exciting than Soban versus Coalition. That's just my opinion anyway. This is Artifact Cup 30 round 5. And we are seeing JHS in the Galcian play against Saturas in the Knef. So this, I think, will be a really exciting game. I am totally looking forward to it. JHS really impressed me with his game versus Spaichi, where he came back from a really, what looked like a dire situation, and I was kind of calling it, being like, yeah, JHS is kind of done here. And then in one fight completely turns around the game. And my only criticism at that point was just that he didn't, you know, finish the game sooner. He was in such a commanding, powerful position, but he did the smart thing and slowly closed the noose on Spaichi. But now he's fighting Saturas, who has also been really strong in this cup so far. So this is a little weird because we are on Tied Passage, which is the next map on, you know, this is the round 5 map. Everybody in round 5 has to play on Tied Passage. But these two players, probably by accident, picked Tied Passage, the 2v2 version. And this is interesting. I'm actually surprised that they played it out. Normally, if this happens to me, if I'm in a game and I accidentally pick the wrong version, usually it's within the first couple minutes that one of us realizes it and we'll mention it in chat and just go, oh, okay, redo, right? Usually we notice it before the game gets one-sided or anything like that. And so nobody really minds doing it. It's just kind of a, oops, you know. But JHS clearly understands that that's the map that he's on, because he's gone to this second resource point. Because even when there's only one player on each side, in the 2v2 map, you still get the other player's resources. So JHS is going to be producing salvagers. I'm surprised that JHS is maybe, yeah, he doesn't seem to be producing salvagers from his carrier. That definitely surprises me. You generally want to get this point online very quickly, but we'll see about that. Spaichi, on the other hand, doesn't seem to have noticed. His production cruiser is still back at home. He seems distracted. His base runner was here and just didn't grab that artifact. And probably could have bullied the Galcian base runner into giving that up, so,
Light attack vehicle rendering complete.
And Saturas now leaving his production cruiser at home with refinery mode. So early refinery mode, actually excellent on this 2v2 map. But moving his other production cruiser to this expansion, not this one. I think he either didn't notice or just wasn't really thinking about the implications of this, because this extraction point over here with the second player gets way more resources. It's an extra CU point. So it seems like this is kind of a... Saturas knew what he was going to do. He had a plan going into this game. He's practiced this. This is his formula. This is his strategy. And he's just doing it, completely not realizing that there's a way better strategy here. And just real briefly, I want to point out that the Knef have this mobility support ability, which means that when you activate that on the carrier, then carriers and production cruisers have an aura around them, which increases the speed of units. Now, what does that mean? If you're remote mining, then a production cruiser and a carrier can increase the speed of the salvagers moving between. So even in those moments before you have refinery mode, as a Knef player, you can have faster remote mining. Saturas hasn't really used any of that. He's really distracted right now and not commanding the base runner with very much of his attention, allowing JHS to grab a second artifact before he even starts moving off of the extraction point with his first one. JHS, meanwhile, has great vision. He's going to see exactly what's going on here. The carrier's out in front. He's, I'm guessing, going to eventually move this sand skimmer up and scout around here. He does not have the sand skimmers very well clumped up, so he's not actually able to fight very well with them right now, but he's got a second base runner. Well, there you go. He's organizing. He's organizing in the low ground, so that's kind of concerning, but we'll see what happens there.
Operator, new course.
Saturas has a lot of sand skimmers, so
A base runner is taking
JHS has to be really careful, and Saturas is also getting power reserve, using his carrier to bully here a little bit.
Support destination verified. Command verified.
This is definitely a formula for Saturas.
Missile ship capacity online. New position. Advance out.
Surprised that JHS decided to move away with his base runner. He probably could have just moved right into the extraction zone, but he's definitely feeling pressured by all of these sand skimmers. And the unit that he has on the field is a heavy railgun, which I would not have shown in this situation. You don't want to be fighting with a heavy railgun against sand skimmers that outnumber you, and you really don't want to do it against a KNF carrier that has missiles. That's going to hurt. Assault railguns will do better, especially if the assault railguns get an armor upgrade. I don't know what tech JHS is going for, but we can see that JHS has a lot more resources, and he's floating a lot more of them. He also has, for sure, more resource income. But he really needs to get that production up and running and preserve his units long enough in order to whittle down the forces of Saturas here. Saturas, you know, he's got respectable economy, 2 full bases, but JHS has a better one, and JHS could really continue this. Saturas, if he builds more production cruisers, is going to have to send them home from the middle of the map with this carrier here. JHS has railgun tech. I mean, he's in a really good position here to just, if he can clear up the sand skimmers, he's in a really good position to force off the KNF carrier.
Artifact signal confirmed.
In no small part because the KNF carrier is so easily threatened by railguns. It has very short vision range, so a bunch of heavy railguns, especially on these really big dooms of Titan Passage, could just be awesome here. But Saturas has the right counter. I mean, he's got these sand skimmers that are gonna do tons of damage to these assault railguns, even though they do have armor upgrades. And JHS does not seem to be producing enough or researching enough to... Missed missile barrage here. That's too bad. But
it must be seized.
Armored craft taking fire.
Yeah, this is a fight that's definitely going Saturas' way.
This is your captain. Armored craft lost.
Evasive movement. Power out. Just targeting. Adjustment range. Attempt to free.
A strike craft has been destroyed.
If you don't stay on top of an enemy's sand skimmer group, if you let it grow, then as the Galcian, it can be very hard to come back. You produce very slowly, so it's hard to replace losses. And your units often just... You need to have those superior numbers. It's very hard to build something like an, assault ships don't do as well as AAVs at stopping one of these groups, even though they do great damage against them. So now, I want to take another look at the resources, because look at how many resources JHS has, but he has no units. It's like he's given up on even doing anything with his resources. He could have another production cruiser or 2. He could have many more units out in the field. But Saturas, with his relentless missile barrage, is going to win this game. It's interesting. I wasn't expecting this game to be over so quickly and so one-sidedly, but there you have it. Even when you do have a strong economy, you have to be able to use it, and my sense is that Saturas fought reasonably well. He didn't do anything super crazy. He just kind of punched JHS in the face, and JHS like didn't know what to do with it. So, good game. A little short, but interesting strategy used there. And I'm just really surprised that Saturas didn't go for this. And, maybe Saturas didn't go for it because he thought it would be outside of the spirit of the game. So, curious if that's the case. Saturas, let me know. Personally, I think that if both players agree to continue playing on the map, everything is fair game. So I don't criticize JHS for this choice to use this resource pocket at all. I would say if a player's uncomfortable with that, they should call for the re. But anyway, good game. And stay tuned for more Artifact Cup 30. We are almost at the midpoint of the tournament. So plenty more to come. And if you haven't been keeping up with the games, go ahead and check out the playlist. Watch more Artifact Cup 30. There's lots of games, and a lot of them are really cool. Even the ones between names that you might not think are like that exciting. A lot of the games really are exciting. So go check them out. And thank you for watching.